The morning they nailed a lien notice to my front door, I knew Karen Whitfield had finally gone too far. My name is Davis Cole, and 3 days later, a judge would freeze every HOA bank account in Maple Ridge. But let me back up, because none of this made sense until I found what she'd been hiding for years. I bought my house on Willowbend Court 18 months ago, a modest brick colonial with a garden I babied. Karen Whitfield ran our HOA board like a fiefdom, clipboard in hand, smile sharp as a paper cut. Neighbors whispered about her, but nobody crossed her. She controlled fines, liens, even parking permits. My first violation letter came for grass 1/4 inch over the limit, a $50 fine attached. I paid it, laughing it off, figuring one weird lady with a ruler wasn't worth a fight. Then came a letter about my mailbox post being non-compliant black instead of approved matte charcoal. Was there even a difference? I held both paint chips under sunlight and genuinely couldn't tell. Fines piled up weekly. Trash bins out too early. A wind chime disturbing communal harmony. My flagpole angle. I started keeping every letter, every photo, every timestamp, a folder growing thicker than I liked. Twist 1 arrived quietly. My neighbor Reyes mentioned Karen never find the Hendersons, whose lawn looked worse than mine. Coincidence? I doubted it, and I started photographing every violation, alongside identical ones she ignored. Then Karen escalated. A certified letter claiming unpaid fines totaled $4,000, threatening a lien on my home. For $1,000, for grass and mailboxes? I called the HOA office. She personally handled my case. That was the tell. HOA presidents don't personally chase small fines unless something else is going on. I requested the HOA's financial records, a right guaranteed in our bylaws, Article 12, Section 3. Karen stalled for weeks, citing administrative delays, while my lien threat letter arrived with a 30-day countdown. Desperate, I hired a real estate attorney, Priya Shah, who read my folder and went very quiet. "This isn't just harassment," she said. "This looks like a pattern. Someone's been doing this before you." Twist 2 hit like a gut punch. Priya found 3 other homeowners Karen had fined into foreclosure since 2019. Every single one had sold their homes at a loss, and every single one bought back by a shell LLC. The LLC's registered agent? Karen's brother-in-law, a name buried in filings nobody bothers reading. My stomach dropped. This wasn't petty tyranny. It was a scheme to strip mine our neighborhood house by house. I laughed once, bitterly, remembering how Karen once told me, "Rules keep property values up." Sure they did for her. We filed a formal records request with the state HOA regulatory board, attaching every fine, every photo, every date. Karen found out fast. A neighbor on the board leaked it, and she came to my door that evening. "Withdraw the complaint," she said, smiling that same paper-cut smile, "or that lien becomes very real very soon." I almost admired the nerve. Almost. Instead, I told her to enjoy the discovery process. The regulatory board opened an investigation within a week, freezing all HOA fine collections pending review. Karen tried an emergency board vote to expedite my foreclosure before the freeze took effect. A petty, desperate move. But bylaws required 72 hours notice for emergency votes, and she'd only given 48, an amateur mistake. Priya filed an injunction citing procedural violation, and a judge signed it within hours, halting everything. The hearing was set for the following Tuesday, and I barely slept, running numbers, rehearsing testimony. Then Twist 3 landed. The HOA's own accountant, terrified of jail time, agreed to testify against Karen. He revealed she'd been diverting reserve funds into that shell LLC for 6 years, nearly $200,000. In court, Karen's lawyer tried spinning it as aggressive but lawful enforcement. The judge wasn't amused. "Ma'am," the judge said, "targeted fines timed to a fraudulent land grab scheme isn't enforcement. It's racketeering." The gallery actually gasped. My neighbor Reyes squeezed my shoulder, whispering, "I knew that woman was crooked." The court voided every fine and lien against me and the other 3 homeowners, ordering full restitution. Karen was removed as president that afternoon, banned from HOA leadership statewide, facing separate criminal charges for fraud. I stood on my porch that night, mailbox post still non-compliant black, and finally exhaled. Justice doesn't always knock politely. Sometimes it arrives with a court order and a very long paper trail.